What is going on, everybody? In today's video we're going to be doing embroidery on some hats. We got a total of 56 hats to get taken care of. I'm also going to be giving you guys tips and tricks on how to embroider any hat in general. And these methods that I'm going to be showing you guys have gotten me the best quality possible. The first tip, guys, is you got to find a reliable digitizer, someone that knows what they are doing. If you don't get the right and correct digitizing for each and every garment and each design, you're going to have a ton of headache and going to be wasting a lot of time and material. If you are just getting into embroidery, you have to know that every design, even the same design, needs to be digitized differently for hats, shirts, beanies, and so on. You got to let your digitizers know what garment it's going to be going on so they know how to digitize the design file. Digitizing is a very important step that you do not want to get wrong or skip when embroidering, because you'll go through a lot of blanks and you'll waste a lot of money. You also want to make sure you're using the right stabilizer for the job. Today we're embroidering on structured hats. They have a twill backing on the back of the hat, and they're a lot more firm compared to dad hats or unstructured hats. With those specific hats, dad hats and unstructured hats, I'd probably go with a cutaway stabilizer. Today I'm going to be using a tearaway stabilizer, meaning it tears away when you are done with the job. This step is very straightforward. You just want to go ahead and put this underneath this cutter, and I like going about maybe ½ an inch to ¼ inch above the design, where I think it doesn't have to be perfect, just make sure it covers your full design. Then when I have this piece cut, I fold it right in half. Next step, I'm going to be putting the stabilizer onto the hooping station. Put it on just like that. I'm going to grab the hat. You want to unbuckle the backing and then unfold the bottom of this. If you don't fold this, you'll do what I did on my very first hat and stitch this closed, and you'll have to throw the hat away. Anyways, flip this open just like that. I'm going to bring the hat over to the hooping station. Bring the band over. Once you got the band over the hat, I put a piece of a sticky note to show you guys how the hat shifts, because say you were to put the center point here, I'm going to go ahead and tighten down the hoop. You can see the hat shifting. So whenever I hoop my hats, I shift them a little bit to the right, so whenever you tighten them down, it gets right in the middle and you're good to go. Some people like putting clamps on the back of the hat. I personally don't put these clamps on the back. I've never had any issues with or without them. It seems to be embroidering the same. But if I were to be doing an unstructured hat, I would definitely be putting clamps. That's how I hoop my hats. Very simple. It all depends on what hooping station you have. Once you pop the hat off, you are ready to go. You can see the stabilizer is on the backing of the hat. Now let's talk about having the proper and correct tension for your machine. My top tension sits around 110, between 110 and 120, and my bobbin tension between 24 and 25 gram forces. You want to go ahead and pick up one of these TOA digital bobbin tension gauges. It checks your top tension and your bobbin tension within 1 unit. Go ahead and pick one of these up on Amazon. I think I paid about $100 for this. You want to pick one of these up to eliminate all the guesswork when figuring out if your tension is off, what's going on with certain embroideries. Definitely when you get your first machine, it's going to be a lot of trial and error, trying to figure out the machine and what works best with it. For me personally, top tension between 110 and 120, and 24 and 25 gram forces for the bobbin. Once you ensured your bobbin case is at the proper tension, the next step is to check the tension of your embroidery machine. When adjusting your top tension, depending on your machine, this is a 15 needle machine. There's going to be a top rail, the actual machine knobs. Top rail knobs, these ones are very sensitive. Say you're going to change your tension to 20 points, maybe 30 gram forces. I recommend using the top one. If you want to just use little micro adjustments, you just use the ones on the machine. For the most part, a lot of people use the ones on the machine itself. I like kind of keeping my tensions, my wheels, I don't want this one fully tightened down and this one loose. I kind of keep them leveled between one another. If you're going to be doing a big jump on tension, use the top one. If you're going to be doing a minor, say 5 points of gram forces or anything like that, just use the ones on the machine. When checking your top tension, you want to make sure that the thread is out of the needle hole. You want to grab your tension gauge, make sure it's on. I just had to replace the batteries finally, so make sure you have good batteries on this machine. Anyways, we're going to bring the string down this middle wheel, bring it up, and over. I'm gonna kind of mimic how the machine will pull it from the top. Since I got 105, I'm gonna go onto the number 15 wheel. I'm gonna turn it just a little bit. I'm gonna get the string, put it in the tension gauge again, see where I'm at. It's too much for me. I'm gonna bring it down, loosen it up just a little bit. I'm gonna try to get it at that 110 mark where I like it. That's good enough for me. It's not gonna be perfect every single time because obviously if you pull too fast, if you pull too slow, if you're not pulling hard enough, you wanna just do a consistent pull, nothing crazy. Now let's get on to the needles. You gotta make sure you're using the right needles for the job. I honestly run these titanium tipped needles for every single job that I am doing. They stitch perfectly on Richardson 1112 hats. Richardson hats are known for being very stiff and people have a lot of issues with needle breaks. So you want to make sure you're using a stronger needle. This is all the information you need if you want to get these titanium tipped ones. You can find them on Amazon. Just do your research on which ones you need. These are the 75 by 11 needles. I honestly run these for every single job that I do and I don't have any issues whatsoever. Everything looks really, really nice. Do your research, guys. Make sure you're using the right needle for the job. I like running the 75 by 11 needles for mostly everything. When it comes to puff embroidery, I do change the needles. If you want to get your embroidery a little tighter when doing hats, you want to get yourself a heat gun. You don't want to scorch the hat either. You just want to kind of graze it with the heat gun and you'll see what happens. Now do a little close-up. It's going to tie down all those stitches, all that embroidery thread, and make it look a lot cleaner, a lot more crisp. So these are all the steps I take to ensure that I am getting proper embroidery. I only do this method for hats since they are structured, they're more firm. It's not very flexible like your standard t-shirt. If you use all these tips and tricks that I told you in this video, I can guarantee that you guys are gonna be getting cleaner and more efficient embroidery on your hats and maybe even help you with a little bit of flats. If there's something that I missed in this video, let me know, comment down below. Maybe you want to see something else, maybe you want to see screen printing part of this. Please like and subscribe if you guys found this video helpful. I will catch you guys on the next one.